then fighting for power. But they did not know the hour. So the bribe we spare guns and money to belittle our trying to belittle our integrity now. They say what we know, just what they teach us. We are ignorant. So everything, every time they can reach us through political strategies. They keep us hungry. They gotta keep us hungry. You have secure food. When you about to get some food, your brother got to be your enemy in the night. Oh, gum, aiming at me. Ambush in the night. Your uncertain. Ambush in the night. Protected by His Majesty. And away. We, away. Oh, we, we, wow. We, wow. It was right. No, it's not what they tell us. We're not ignorant. Admit it. You understand? You understand us. All the goals of the most high. The Jacob tells us this. The word of the most high. Keep on surviving. Ambush in the night. Planned by society. Ambush in the night. They try to conquer me. Ambush in the night. And it is ambush in the night. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Honor Politics. Woman over I just vibing to Bob Marley. Ambush in the night. They only teach us, we only know what they teach us, but they are so ignorant, if that's the case. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Honor Politics. Today, we are going to talk about pretty much what I would say is the rebuttal to Dele Sunday Simon or agreement or continuation, however you want to put it. But if you have not listened to Dele please do, and because what we are going to talk about this morning is pretty much a response to that, if you ask me. He talks about the what? Waiting tattoo. He talks about the Nigerian victim and the Alhajis, and I think he did an incredible job by dissecting what that really means. I pretty much agree from the beginning, but towards the end, I think we need to have a conversation. So, but I like the fact that it started by telling, how drawing the importance of history. That if you don't know where we are coming from, you will not understand where we are here, pretty much in a nutshell. And the fact that it makes reference to Wale Ogun's book, The Fatherless People. And I was
kicked. I was, as in, I was jumping up pretty much when I hear NBA was talking about that book because I don't know. If there's one book that is the thing sweet for ear to read, I think it's that book. A lot of things will make so much sense to you about Nigeria, if not everything. You understand exactly why we are where we are, where would they come from, and where would they go. So Deleparo to me pretty much was advocating for electoral reform. And then I think, as far as I'm concerned, going by how he started by telling us the history, I think at this point that's not our main problem. Our problem is freedom, economic freedom. So that's why I say Nigeria need economic revolution and party revolution rather than electoral revolution, which Dele Farotimi was advocating for. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad thing or you shouldn't. I disagree with or anything, but I'm just saying that I think at this point, yeah, we need to crawl. They say you go crawl first before you walk, especially when you understand where would they come from. And as I was, all hyped up, gigs, okay, I think, because I was struggling to say, okay, what am I going to talk about today? What was the, I mean, I tried to go to the headlines to see, but all same shit. So I was like, okay, my last go to be inspired to talk this morning, now, um, Daily Parrot to me is Sunday Simon. I said, maybe he was going to say something that I want to portray, disagree, and all that. But as things will turn out exactly how I expected it. It was has everything that I wanted. My expectation of his today Simons, right? Talking about the Nigeria from the story perspective, shining, ability for him to differentiate those the ruiners, as he called them, and the followers, and but at the end of the day, he concluded by advocating for electoral reform, thinking that electoral reform will change anything. It doesn't matter. That's not our electoral. If we don't change the party, somebody did it. No, actually, it was me that was uh, talking about the evolution of our constitution, right, from the 1914 to 1999, pretty much. The 1999 constitution gave birth to the political party. As in, that means the spirit of the constitution is what produced the political parties. So if you don't if you don't revolutionize the party, it doesn't matter how much you adjust the electoral, the form process, whatever. It's still going to be a win-win for the system. So that's why I kind of like, in a way, want to. That should not be the main area to attack. The main area to attack is economic freedom. And again, even the economy that we are actually practicing today is also ushered in by that same 1979 and 1999 constitution, which was under Obasanjo's watch. But I can't say make I go listen to my guy Tunanja. Tunanja Aria Kanta Shamba Basantara Bubuko Shitalaka. Guy, before, 99, let me say 50% of the time, why they always say, yeah, you go read book, go do that. It's pretty much been for the fun of it. But, nigga, with what you talk today, this early morning, Chineke me. This guy said the Jewish are economically powerful and still they still end up in the whatever what happened to them in Germany. And at that point, I was like, motherfucker, guy. That means all my accusation of you is actually spot on. How come people will get independence 1948 be economically powerful? And you know when like I just I felt somehow bad. Actually had to accuse Dr. Damage immediately. That is part of our problem. People like that should not be in a position to the lecture other people. At least, there's a lot of work to be done. And for you to say, because and the and how my fucking god, the more I dey try reflect or trying to picture what exactly how it plays out, I feel pain. Because Pastor asked two Niger questions. Now you are a proponent of security. I beg, give us how we will take achieve this thing. A guy begin tell us why. That's not see that, now the problem why they always talk with that. Lack substance. Don't tell me why. We say how. And that is where he chip in that in order to because he knows he is not making sense if he actually listen to himself anytime the propagate this insecurity bullshit. In the midst of trying to sound as if you know what he's talking about, he say, well, as you can see, the Jews are economically powerful and they still end up in the what happened to them. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? This is in the 40s. The state of Israel came to an existence in 1948. So again, when they say read, go do it, there's a reason why. There's a reason. So when Dele was talking about the importance of knowing what happened yesterday in order for you to know how we where we were or how we where we were now. It's important. And when he said that, I was like, that's my that's I think that's the reason I said I want to listen to this guy this morning. That alone just in today's world, you ask yourself how many countries they get economic freedom. Because what people don't understand about how events that they when there's this history is the study of events, how things they shape up to where we are today, and how we are literally into another phase of uh, world world order as we speak. One need to understand the events that led to this place that put us in the situation we are today that the colonization, the slavery, however you want, language you want to describe them, it's all pure economy. From the one they come in contact with us now, economy now hunger. Now carry them come on for Europe. They know they see eye to eye. The Germans, the French, the just because of hunger. Now hunger might push them out to begin explore and begin destroy, begin carry out their that hasn't changed. So when everybody they actually a lot of people go say, oh, the Berlin of 1884, where then decide to sit down and demarcate Africa and all that. Has they made the people tell you how that come about? What is that? They don't know. Right? It was just pure hunger and carry them come. And again, the read and as another the second part to that conversation that people know they refer to or they don't know, which is why is America not in Berlin when the continent of Africa was being divided? Anybody ever like ask that question? Why is America not involved? So this is 1884. America get their independence 1776. They are pretty much already 100 years old. They were already, shit is going good for them. because of they are practicing what? Isolationism. Remember, 2 days ago, I talked about the American system, the document by uh, what's it be this president name in 1823 when he produced that document before the John Congress that literally said the whole continent of America, both south, north, east, west, the whole hemisphere should be a no-area from the Western powers. Doesn't matter if you are a former emperor of Britain, if you are French, who is so powerful, has a lot of colonies in the Caribbean and even the America itself, the likes of Louisiana, Texas at one point. But that declaration said every Tom, Dick, and Harry should clear. So the reason they practice that isolationism is for them to develop, and that is the point. I they always try get people like to Niger to understand. They literally shut out the world and put their fucking ass together, develops their industrial power, economic power, and that is what is responsible for the success they achieved at the World War One. Again, yeah, any this morning I be when the to Nigeria, Muri and the rest we just they talk about taxes, what you talk like you guys keep missing the point. You literally cannot do anything until they tell you to do it because you don't have freedom. Freedom because we have our own system of government, which in a way is still being controlled from the outside. But doesn't mean we are free economically. We are not affected. If you don't feed yourself, that means somebody is feeding you. So if we know they feed ourselves as a country, somebody is feeding us, and who is that? And what are the conditions? So Americans were literally focused on themselves, develop their economy and everything that they needed to stay solid. While the European were just busy, just to fight themselves. The Brits and and the French, 100 years straight, going back and forth until now, because of that fight, they had to actually, what's his name? Von Bismarck, the former the chancellor of, uh, of Germany, who called out a Berlin conference that everybody always refer to. They called that conference for a reason. Remember, I said America say they have no business with the outside world for now. The Americans, when I mean the Americans, the continents that we have just take over, Moku literally dominate our first before we even begin say if we want to go outside world, right? And they were also very following the the 1932 American system declaration, plural religiously. They don't want to interfere in the Western other European adventure outside their continent, and they don't want them to come close on. So that they call that Berlin conference because remember I said the reason why there was slavery, there was colonialism, everything that you can think of that happened to the continent was just pure economy, nothing more. Right? When they were shipping people away, because you go and do the work, what would they do now? Right? But because they are always at loggerhead, they always they fight themselves. So even when they see the gold mine in the continent of Africa, they see they shoot it as a superpower. You understand? This one goes in and make it this territory. This one they fight, they crash all the freaking time. Hence, Arthur van Bismarck had to call that Berlin Conference of 1845. Remember, America were seen not fucking with the rest of the world. They are seeing practice isolationism. They just conquer a whole new continent. They have said nobody should come close, and they will not interfere with anybody adventure either. So, hence, Americans were now on the table in Berlin. So they put the Atom von Bismarck, the Chancellor of Germany that time, had to call the conference. So one of the reasons is to regulate the European colonization of Africa. That's the main reason, right? They won't regulate because they fight all the time. Dog eat dog. Who get weapon bars? Who get this bars? Now at that time, the British were kind of have upper hand. They pretty much at the adventure. They don't get a lot of history in colonization and destroying other people's land. So another reason is to prevent a conflict between themselves, between the European powers, the French, the German, the Belgium. They were always clashing over food, free food. It's free because they don't succeeded in decimating the the indigenous people they don't send. So as now where America come into the picture was when France and America, British for precisely, decided to invite America into the First World War of 1914 because for some reason the French and the British are on one side and the German is taking them on. German were feared then for the whole world because of their sophisticated in engineering, medicine, you just name it. The two countries together and their ally could not take down Germany. It was a stalemate. Just like there was a stalemate between the Nigeria and the Biafra for like straight 2 years. That's a conversation we need to have. The Biafrans and the Nigerians, there was a stalemate for like 2 years. Nigeria could not win, and they hold their ties. The Biafran hold their on until the Western power begin, come enough is enough. Let's get this shit over with. The rest they say na history. That's something that we need to talk about. So when the British and the French could not jointly defeat German, Winston Churchill had to pay American with Winston visit and beg him to come into the war. People who are practicing isolationism for almost 100 years. Just imagine what that has given them. They have developed sophisticated weapons. Their industry is pretty top notch. Everything is going on well. Why they were busy doing that, the Europeans they destroy themselves in the name of who will take both, who will conquer, who will take large part of the continent of Africa and the rest of the world. So when America come into the war, they help defeating Germany. When they defeat Germany, that's when Germany lost out of their own share of the African continent. Remember now, then call the conference. That means they have pretty much some a level of power and authority over other people. They organize the unity, but at the end of the day, when they lost the First World War, they tell them, say, nah, in fact, the whole problem is in that cause they have to heavy sanction on them. The Treaty of Versailles, they have to pay through their nose. I mean, we all know what happened. It was this period, though, Nigeria, they talk, Germany, they talk, the Jewish people are economically bad. Jewish people, with them be like, say, now us now, say, we just they roam around. In fact, A lot of people, a lot of books describe the Jews' experience and that of the Biafran people everywhere roaming around. That's why I said when somebody will want try tell me say, oh, now it's their nature. They like to move around. No, it's not. It's not normal. It's not normal. It's not normal. There are two events you need to understand. You need to study in history to understand why the Biafrans are everywhere outside their home. You need to go and study the revolt of the Jamaican slaves of 1831 and the legislative session that follows in Great Britain afterwards. Then you understand why pretty much the Southeast they are everywhere. Again, that is the commonality that they have with the Jews. The Jews are everywhere. In fact, every will be taught they misuse them for European continent. Now only now just because the German took it too far. The German took the treatment of the Jews to a level that even today, anybody when hear this thing go open him mouth, your jaw will drop. Huh? If not, every fucking European powers were guilty of mistreating the Jews. The Italian, the Bulgarians, every one of them. Just as they mistreat us, so it's just a way we made it. We get place, and our place they no fit finish us. But that was another conversation. That they don't finish us, they go finish us. Now, so after America win that war decisive and heavy fanwares level on German and all that kind of stuff, the French and the rest of them have to come back and share that portion of which belong to Germany, like the Cameroon, the up to like South African area, as is was all German territory before. So they have to share it between themselves. Now, fast forward to Second World War. So it's more or less like a compensation because the First World War done a lot of damage to their economy and all that, right? The only country that is doing well is the United States. So the United States have to say, okay, now go now share the territory of a German and use it to build your economy back, which is where the amalgamation of northern Nigeria and southern Nigeria come together, and some part went to Cameroon now under French, which would be German before. Now, fast forward to Second World War. Again, after America come top of the Second World War, America had to give order. Go and let that people go. That now the European colonies. What? Go and let that people go. Remember, last time we talked about the American system, the doctrine. The goal is to dominate the the continent of America. Now, after this First World War, they now have said, okay, I think we can actually take Europe journal without necessarily doing like the British people. Do they go fire? No, 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 no. Let's use soft power, covert regime, and what have you. Now, again, after they now win the Second World War, they say, you know what? Even the European themselves, they need to get we need to put their hearts in one basket. First of all, go and free all the colonies, give them their freedom. Hence, everybody will begin getting independence, right? From 1940 to 1950 to 60s before it can reach us and all that kind of shit. So that's how America fully waits from that day, from that time on. So the whole point of this is that can govern ourselves all we want, as far as they call for electoral reform. Can reform our election all we want. If we don't have economic control, we are not perish with this though. Because what it literally means is that we cannot feed ourselves. So if we are not feeding ourselves, who is feeding us? So look around you. The South Africa have gained their own. If we just say we took our own independence too early, we negotiate for them. South Africa, what you go tell you about them? But still, I think they are not better off because the economy is the most important thing. Remember, when the European powers are coming to Africa to scramble now for resources, Now, when the people are giving her time, now the destruction start and all the force begins, they're there for the resources. And again, even when the Americans said that, okay, shit has to stop. When during the heat of the slavery, when they come pack people, they go Americans and the rest part of the world. Now, what will they go and work? Build the economy. So that what I'm trying to say here, those people where they carry literally go work for plantation and us now the same. And that is the point when I hear Black Beauty, right? On Dr. Damage they talk yesterday, or like, oh, New York, we they like please, like, do you even know your history? The reason they bring you come the Americas hasn't changed and it will never change. And if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, just study Trump policy, even though they never started implement them. America is an idea. Now waiting, people know that get no understand be that. It's not a country like every other thing you see, it's an idea. The only way to the layman to understand the America is two things, two adage, right? Two things. Okay, one no be agent, like really say. For village, if you know how they farm for village, what do? You go into bush, you clear the bush, you cultivate am, then you plant on am. That is what the adventurers that came to the Americas did. They can't clear the land, metaphorically speaking. They clear am. I don't know how to put that. They clear the whole Americas and cultivate am till they want. One adage, my people, they for also the always talk say, Oloma Goloba Sogbo corn, okra can never grow taller than the planter. You go cut am. That's what I get no understand. In other words, then bring you come America land come work. And that you will do till you die. For life. So the American idea is an idea. The idea is to dominate the planet Earth for life. Now, it's an idea. Can they achieve it? It's a story that is still unfolding. So when she they brag, New York, now we get New York, we build New York. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I wish you know. I wish you know. So economic freedom is very important. We are not in charge of our resources. So when we don't not just the resources that is underneath the land itself. Oh. As we speak today, 2025, the land, the surface of the land too does not belongs to you. If you na still say na joke at the joke, go plant your normal crop owner they plant before. Where you go just dey reach am, they repeat am year in year out. Go try am. That's how you go know the times that we are in. So anything outside deliberately aiming at that economic freedom for us to be in charge of our resources, in charge of our land, in charge of our waterway, we are not going to do it. Nothing go, nothing. We not go. Our now we just a dream in the wilderness. Illusion will just dey kill all of us. Why? Because those who feed you literally tells you how to eat or when to eat. In other words, what to invest in and what not to invest in. So when people like two Nigeria they shout security, 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 those motherfuckers cannot invest in the security, even if they have want to. They have to free themselves first. Military wey no fit produce matches, no be machinery be that according to Showry. So until we begin to conceptualize our problem, everybody go the you can reform the electoral process all you want, pass electoral bill every hour. It's not going to work. The same go to the party. It's political, not the same people. When I keep saying, I can't say it enough. The same men, the same generation that pretty much fight the civil war, give us this constitution. Obasanjo, if there's any reason, all you need to know now just Obasanjo. Go study Obasanjo into to spend money if you have to get into some classified document, buy some campus. Yes, just go. Once you study Obasanjo, you read Obasanjo, you understand Obasanjo. But another personal life, public life, you understand the modern Nigerian problem, where we are, why we get here, and possibly how to get out of it. But if all you do now to sing Obasanjo's praise, then you have no clue his role. Just go listen to the referral to me this morning. He made a reference to that, but not literally saying the guy's name. So I was talking about the Monroe Doctrine of 1931, 32. That's what kept America from being part of Berlin 1884, where they share Africa. Their domestic issue is a priority as at that time. As I said, the same thing with the China. When oh God, people will just even the Japanese suffered the same fate that the Germans suffered in the Second World War, First and Second World War. Remember, Japan are German ally going to the Second World War. Wetin be their problem? Say na just because they bomb uh, uh, what's this part of America? Say this island where to see Gabbard come from. And pro Abo Abi, na their problem with that too. I level Japan, then level. So when that's why accounts are the best. They pay wherever we all come. Ah, you saw Japan, you saw this. Like, what are you talking about? Wetin even make me take a special interest on Japan first, the man among all these things was now one of my history class. My history class. That day, it just happened that I'm talking about, the war about between the Japan and the America. Man, you need to see the calm arrogance, the calm proudness. I mean, when you terms you can use to describe the professor, old guy, pretty much maybe mid 60s, early 60s or so. As he was describing the Argentine level Japan, like you would say, you would look for a house, what he stand. Then 2 weeks later, it was to present his book, the book when he writes to community. So that's one thing about the school, and also we do. They carry community. I mean, anyway, so they invite the community to come listen to lecture when they present the book. It happened that he has to talk about the Civil War, the American Civil War, on that day. When this man they talk about the American Civil War, the guy was tearing tears. I confused. I was confused. I said, this country, like, he was crying. I said, come on, this not the same man. And they see they describe how they take level Japan. At that point, I just begin to pay deliberate attention to some of the things that after I'm saying this to say before you go to use Japan as an example. I see Japan today. they level Japan finish, the America itself still let the ally to focus and develop that country. Investments equivalent to 220 billion of that time was given to. There was a special focus just like the deal that was also given, the Marshall Plan that was given to part of the Marshall Plan, by the way, is to go and explore the resources of Africa. People know go talk that one. When people like Jimmy Carter, they celebrate today, they collect Nobel Peace and all that. Anyway, that's a different. Move to detail come up for now. So even just like Russia, Ukraine, BlackRock has already signed a construction deal worth billions of dollars. So in 20 years from now, you see the country that was fighting war for what 4 years straight, and they became the hot destination in the world. The economy say, see, we Nigerians, we know get. That's not how the world works, my brother. So since for us to dey say we wan fight for electoral reform, no, 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 no. When are we going to take control of our oil? When are we going to take control of our waterways? When are we going to take control of all our land and what grow on it or underneath? Because that's what they never like. Well, since they enter that space, they were in control of that. As they discover resources, they go, if they under them. Now, how to govern, style of governance, now they let us be. And as I said, that comes with the wave of the 60s. America has just entered another level of trying to dominate the world, which is all that in order for you to do that, you have to show benevolence. After all, you have pretty much a reasonable population of your countries are black, and the treatment whether they get. And that's another thing again. Another reason that kept the Americans away from the Berlin Conference was they were focused on reconstruction. I talked about the reconstruction and the reconstruction era and militarization of Southeast Nigeria, not the same. But the difference is that America occupied the South to make sure the Southern government implements what they fought for. Some of the benefits of freedom of black people economy and all that they fought for. The government of the day don't want to implement it, so they have to go and occupy it with a union military to make sure all those things. So they were busy at home, necessary. But our own, they go occupy the territory, the southeast with military in order for stop them from developing. Why America occupy the southern part of the country? I'm comparing the two of them because our civil war bring this military into their territory, right? Both of them lost. The southern part of America lost the civil war to the Union, right? The same thing the Biafran state lost to the Nigerian state. But the benefit of what comes after, what they agreed on after, because after what we will sit down for table now, was to give back what we fought for was blacks to get their right back, the economic equality and all that kind of stuff. But the government of the day doesn't want to implement it. Government of the day means the state governors, state government. Yes, you can go and read a book called The Women's in Lies as a classic. So they had to occupy the southern America to force the government of the day to implement those stuff. But in Nigeria, they have to militarize the zone to stop them from developing. Ain't that crazy? I mean, there nobody's gonna put it to you like that, but shit, tell me what it is. Once anybody won't come put billion for there, you can't hear say security checkpoint there everywhere. It sounds a signal that means that place is not secure. So why should I invest? That's why some people they talk about security, police like to Nigeria. Safest community are not the most police community. Safest community are community with what? The most amenities. From a day 1 year old to 100 years old person has something to do within that community. They're busy. Whatever you want to do, work, school, play, whatever, you are busy, there's something. So that idleness that other thing will occupy, that space no dey there. So anywhere you see just the presence of military or uniform men, just know that it's because of insecurity. That's why I see those people. So nobody is coming to invest there. But that's a conversation. So maybe say people don't want to have, but they don't actually see things from that angle. I don't know why. Well, I know why when you teach us history. The liberal to me said that, not me. So until we embark on revolutionizing our, I mean, but the liberal to me talk along that line too that we need an independent candidate. But an independent candidate in this political terrain, you no go do anything. You no go do anything. You can't win. There's a reason why. Because now, oh my God. Mushiga Uku, according to the Hausas, we enter one chance. He go take what the electoral team is advocating and show a revolution. But the show will raise the like understanding of revolution. I said the show will raise. I'm not saying him, not a politician. I don't know, but the show will raise. No, no, say na evolution they lead to revolution. So when Farotime is aiming for electoral reform or individual candidacy, he understands. He knows he will rattle the elite up, if not send them to confusion that will lead to disagreement, hopefully leads to all out, and that's where revolution happens. But it's not going to work if you want to take it from electoral reform. Let's go for economy. There's a big difference between from having economic control and literally just say you dey govern yourself. If we know if we no wan gree, if we dey deny say we are not in control of our economy, and don't know the effect, look at South Africa. At least that one is obvious, abi. Na different people dey there dey operate. We win na because say na we win, now we dey think say because say Bola Tinubu and everybody who is in the public opposition work for us. They don't work for us, they work for the owners of the economy. Again, it's not me and you. Go into Dangote board, Dangote refinery board. Go study the board. The people that come together that make that refinery come to life. There you go. And I also understand the Dangote now. Of course, now small share. There's a reason why they do it like that. Even his own company said. So the doings of Obasanjo is the father of this current economy that Tinubu continue. Is the father of the current political system we are operating. Is the father of the political party. Is that a coincidence? Hell fucking no. It's not a coincidence. It's a grand plan work from the masters of mankind or the masters of the universe or masters of mankind if you want to go by Adam Smith. So we need economic revolution in Nigeria. We have to go back to the post-colonial economic reforms in the 60s when people they give the good old days of Nigeria, how Nigeria used to produce this, how Nigeria used to produce that, how we get manufacturing, we get factory for here, here, there. Those are in the 60s. Those are British businesses, which the Electorial team also refer to, but from a different context today, right? But once you don't understand, so those are still the benefit of the when the British were still directly in control. We're still there. But as soon as America give them quick notice, let my people go, that means they are coming in. With their what? With their economic, of course, we all know the economic of that of British and that of the political system. The political system is different. The economic system is also different. So asking British to let go because they are now the champions of the world means they are bringing in their own way of life, their own economic system. So the British, when the Nigerian, older Nigerians, they tell you how Nigeria used to be good in the 60s, in the 70s. We are still under British, in a way, influence. America are still creeping until 1979, until in the 70s, where oil don't find the boom. They discover oil don't reach to the next level. After they discover it, they don't take on to the next level. Guess what happened? Obasanjo had to come in and change things, implement that American policy. Should I say IMF policy, which is what? Structural Adjustment Program in the 80s. What happened in the 80s? All those our factories begin disappear one by one because structural adjustment program is just a way to take us to sell all our national assets, take away all the powers of the states now to private individuals, which is where Shewore comes into play. Shewore is advocating for the other way around. The state need to be in control first, which is what one will argue what keep America from the adventures of Berlin 45. Why? Because they were busy practicing socialism. They were busy developing all the infrastructure, the railways, the big industry via their military, via taxpayers' money. It's not via individual. So if you want to understand Showore's economics angle, that's exactly what Showore is talking about. I mean, there's a strong argument against that too. If you look at the capitalist side, but that's a different conversation. So as soon as Obasanjo community nine from there on, everything begin go into private hands. Up to today, that's where we are. That's the sun there outside. I want to go outside. I want to go outside and let's see, a lot of people out there too. Oh, guys. Oh. Let me clear. Okay. I don't know if you haven't listened to Daily Fire to this today's broadcast. You should do. Then you enjoy what I'm saying more. I'll listen to this.
You asked. Any Nigerian who is still hanging around waiting for 2023 to change Nigeria is a fool. Line 20 Daily Faro to me up and ask them to become president of Nigeria. 20 of me, 20. Multiply their brain power by 10, factor of 10, and then force them to operate the 1999 Constitution with the governance system that is enshrined in it. We shall fail spectacularly. The problem of Nigeria can never be resolved by personnel changes. The system is designed with impunity undergirding it, and it can never deliver anything positive to the Nigerian peoples. Be those Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Fulani, whatever they care to be. Make an Igbo man president of Nigeria in 2023, and force him to operate the 1999 constitution, complete waste of time. Ndi Igbo will continue to suffer the brunt of the wickedness of the Nigerian state. Every Nigerian is rendered stateless by the 1999 constitution. It is an iniquitous, wicked, and evil document. It has nothing good for the Nigerian people. And the longer we continue to fool ourselves believing, and let me enter one quick caveat. Our rulers are actually very intelligent when they care to be, especially when it comes to their own preservation. And I know as a fact that they're already making noises about restructuring in Abuja. The Mace Snatcher and the Lawan and that one that calls himself Baja, all of them are sat there running helter-skelter, cobbling together some lies that they intend to sell to us as constitutional, what do they call it, amendment. Let's be clear. You cannot continue to build on top of lies. You can't sustain that lie. And as long as justice is missing in a place, you continue to have strife. We need to tell ourselves the truth, and that truth is that the closest we can come to normalcy in Nigeria is to have a return to the original agreements that founded this country. Those agreements are very clear in their fundamentals. One of them, federal system. Nigeria is today not a federal system. Let's stop lying to ourselves. The word federal was brought to life by the American election. Each state has its own electoral body because it is essentially a country within a larger country. That was what our fathers agreed. Nobody agreed a situation where a clueless man will sit down inside a rock and begin to issue edicts and diktats to every other person. Nobody signed on for that in 1960. All the constitutional conferences, beginning from 1948 all the way to the 1951, all the way to 1960, each and every one of them was very clear and unambiguous. Nigeria was meant to be a federal system based on parliamentary democracy. It wasn't by accident that our fathers settled on parliamentary democracy. They wanted to make democracy as close to the people as it could be. So it simply meant that if you're a parliamentarian, you knew your people knew you. It was the aggregation of the parliamentarians that determined who became the prime minister, and they were also the ones at the regional level who determined who became the premier. So democracy was devolved. It was easier for the people to become involved. What we have today is not a democracy. What we have today is not a federation. We've just become a nation of liars who readily accept every lie that we are told.
So if that is the case, why isn't advocating for electoral reform? Electoral reform is not going to get us to regionalism, right? But I think at this point, we have gotten to a stage whereby it doesn't really matter how you govern yourself, how you choose to govern yourself. What really matters is economically, are you in charge? That's the whole point. If the economic activity that is going on in your territory is not under your control, doesn't matter how you govern. No, it doesn't really matter how you govern yourself. Because you gotta survive, that's the most important thing first. And I think that's where we are. That's where at that stage we see they give us freedom. We negotiated our freedom to govern ourselves. That's it. But how we feed, how we live outside styles of governance is totally out of our control. And that's exactly what he clearly spit out. So for him to be now say we need to go back to, we need to be, electoral reform, getting independent candidates and all that kind of shit. It's not sound sweet, but it's not going to change anything. It never works anywhere. Especially not what they've succeeded in building, which is this um, system of governance that is pretty much arguably going 25 years strong without any
The
interference.
result was.
You think leadership is a common case? No. Esther said, if I perish, I perish. Whenever you are in leadership, look at what happened to Donald Trump. In America, where security is everywhere. Yet, 2 times now they wanted to kill him. Every profession has its own risk. If you're not willing to take the risk that is attached to any profession, step aside so that people who are given that mind by God will go ahead and serve God in that capacity. If you're an actor and an actress and you say you're not going to hug babes and you're not going to kiss them, step aside. Because that's what the job is. Don't come and say you're a born-again Christian. That's what the job entails. If you're a politician and you can't stand for your people that voted for you, and because you don't want to die, step aside. Because that's what the job entails. Any politician that is not behaving like Simfubara, who will resist and protest when his rights are trampled upon, knowing that our judicial system, knowing that our electoral system have failed us, that any politician who will not stand his ground, no matter the risk to his person, I said I will not speak for that politician again, and I maintain it. And you can see what is happening, because we can't go forward. We calm down. If Simfubara has been saying calm down, do you know where River State would have been? He said he's ready for them. He's fully prepared. The election must go on. The election must hold. Winners must be declared. They will be sworn in. And whatever is going to happen, let it happen. I am looking for leaders who would say nobody will rig my election. And if you rig my election, I will fight. Nigerians, come out and fight. If they kill anybody, let them kill all of us. Oh yes, and thank God I'm seeing it happen. What Fubara did, was he advocating for violence? Was he advocating that the law should be broken? No. He was advocating for his right. That's my opinion. That's my advocacy. We must advocate for our right and stand by it. I did not disqualify anybody. I don't have that right. I said I am not going to speak for anybody going forward except this person meets this criteria. In any case, we have finished 2023 election. It's over. 2027 election has not come. So anybody who is saying betrayal, what am I betraying? There is nothing on ground. When I was a spokesman in 2023, I did my job creditably well, and we convinced Nigerians on what we believe is right. But you can see that in Nigeria, you not only have to have the power to win election, you have to have the power to defend your election. So anybody that does not have that spirit or power to defend the votes in a manner that you would say, whatever happens to me as a person, let it happen. I am not willing to speak any further for the person. So what I just simply said is that going forward, I will no longer be part of this until these fears are addressed. So I did not disqualify anybody. One, I don't have that power. Then two, I am not betraying anybody because I'm still a member of Labour Party. And you can see I'm still fighting that Labour Party should be consolidated because Nigerians are looking for an alternative to these people. That if you want to fight these people who are compulsive thieves and who are the worst amongst us, leading us, according to Senator Ndume, who is part of them, then you have to grow higher and be more aggressive than calm down. That's what I said, and I stand by it. In all honesty, I would have said we don't. But because I'm a student of theology, I would not say so. Because when Elijah thought he was the only person that was worshiping God, God said, no, you're not the only person. There are more than 7,000 persons like you still in that country that have not done anything evil. I know them. So the only thing we have to do in this country We must not be sentimentally attached to anybody, any politician. We must not be loyal to political parties or politicians. We have to be loyal to the country and to the law. And if any law is unjust, we have to fight the law. If anybody is doing anything illegal, no matter who the person is, we have to fight the person. So in Nigeria, we must create the environment so that those 7,000 that we do not know who are leaders will be able to begin to emerge. If the good ones keep quiet, they will never emerge. When people say people are selling their votes, you know why they are selling their votes? Because they believe that even if they vote their conscience, it will not count. Not because they want to be corrupt. They saw what happened in 2023. I was an active participant in that election of 2023. They did not sell their votes. But after, it did not count. So they'll be like, why would I go and say I'm voting for my conscience when it will not count? If I'm going to take this money, at least it will be what I gain. So if we don't fight, we are...
People protested when I was governor. They even called strike. They shut down our schools for months, our hospitals for months. Well verified. We need more transparency. And when you talk about transparency in terms of figures, you show it, you elucidate it. Figures are not 1 + 1 is 2. It's not something you say it's just 2 because of. Tell us how we arrived at it and we'll believe. And when we talk about subsidy, as continuously said, if we are removing subsidy, what are we replacing it with? Where are we applying that subsidy we removed to? So if you say to me, I've removed subsidy, I'm going to use it to build this number of classrooms, to be able to pull out of school children into school, so we can verify and follow and track those schools. We have issue in health, primary health care, especially issue of infant mortality. Removal of resource subsidy will enable us to build this number of primary health cares in different, so that we can measure it. So you don't remove something without saying what is replaced and where are we moving our money to. Or it's helping us to manage our debts. This is it. This. But here we have fuel subsidy removed, the debt is increasing, and we're not seeing anything. We have to continue our journey on democracy. It's government of the people, for the people, and by the people. However, we need to tweak it where we have some level of parliamentary system in it, like it's in South Africa. So we need to deal with issue of more scrutiny in our expenditure, in our borrowing, in efforts to be able to ensure that our scarce resources is prioritized to areas of urgent need for development, from security, food, all those areas, education. I'm not preoccupied about 2027 election. I'm preoccupied by Nigerians sitting today and having a better life. I've said it before, my politics is not about the election. I am not desperate to be president, and I don't want to. What I want to hear is that fuel prices are coming down, bread is getting cheaper, Nigerians are not. You cannot be talking about 38 million Nigerians facing hunger, and I'm talking about next election. Let's talk about hunger. Let's talk about managing our resources today. Let's talk about doing the right thing, the right behavior, showing example to the younger ones, growing up that we're leaders. I've said that everybody, they have right to protest. I've said it before. I would discuss with every protester. They even want government months before they did that. I would sit down and discuss with them. People protested when I was governor. They even caused strike. They shut down our schools for months, our hospitals for months. Well verified. I was talking with them. I didn't come down. I have never, as a politician, as a governor, for one day, go and ask any policeman, say, please, stop somebody. Talk less of arresting the person. It shouldn't be. In a democracy, people have right to say no. I've said it every day. If I'm managing this facility and everybody loves me, I will resign. This is me. Wherever I am, I believe that I have enemies. My job is to convince them. If everybody loves me, then there's a problem. There's people who hate me because I'm just Peter. They don't even need to give me any reason. It is my job to convince them on why it should be. I convince the teachers why we should return schools to missionaries, and they've seen the result. I convince them why we should go to the missionary facilities, the Ministry of Health, and build school of nursing and midwifery. You just have to. It's a constant thing. That's why you're a leader. You're a communicator. You listen. You talk to the people. It's not a question of what the young ones. I'll meet them. The agitators, the protesters. I will be talking to them.
The governor of Kaduna State, Nasiru El-Rufai, is someone that is never afraid of tackling burning issues amid the situation arising from scarcity of naira notes. Governor El-Rufai has appealed to citizens to caution against joining protests over shortage of cash and attendant hardship. The governor, who insisted that fifth columnists are behind the crisis to scuttle APC's chances in the 2023 elections, assured residents that legal means are being explored to resolve the crisis. Let's share the story.
I had advanced intelligence that protests will start in Kaduna tomorrow, Wednesday. I'm appealing to all of you not to join the protests or engage in any violence. Let us know who our enemy is. Our enemy is not us. Our enemy are those fifth columnists in the villa working with Godwin Emefiele to bring this country down. And they will fail. This is a deliberate conspiracy against the APC as the ruling party to be blamed for these difficulties. And this is why we came out and revealed what was going on. And the role of the central bank governor as the evil genius behind this conspiracy. He is being used by some elements that want to bring this republic down. They want to bring this democracy down. They want to cause breakdown of law and order. Why are we expected to change 3 trillion in a matter of weeks? And then you print only 300 billion worth of notes, unless you want to create a crisis. Why would you do that? Only 34% of Nigerians have bank accounts. Only 9% of Nigerians used digital platforms for their transactions. You think that you'll move 34% and 9% to 100% overnight?
I mean, you said 3 or 4 candidates. Yeah. Are you discountenancing?
That's what I'm looking for, because
the other candidates.
You know, I must admit that Rabiu Kwankwaso has established himself fairly well. Now, he has established himself. He has become. He's not a media survey personality, all right. But I am a professional, and I'm viewing his campaign from a professional eye, and I say that this is a quantum that must be recognized.
But all the other candidates
cannot push Kwankwaso away in this equation.
All the other candidates of, say, Accord Party, a few other parties that have also shown up, you're not exactly bringing them into reckon, are you?
It's not that we're not, I don't bring them into reckon. I see potentials in them. As a party, at our own campaign level, we're talking to SDP. We're talking to even Kwankwaso again and his team. We're talking to PRP. We're talking to ADC. We want to bring together. It's not a private enterprise. It's not a personal matter. It is, we're going to bring together, a coalition of political forces, in an arrangement whereby we all can come now. INEC has published the list of candidates. Labour Party is not everywhere. Kwankwaso and the group, they're not everywhere. So we can have an arrangement. We can have information that says that those of us who are in this coalition, we will support any candidates where we don't have a candidate. Do you understand? We're talking, and I believe and I trust God will help us that between now and December, we will bring together that alignment politically in the country, and the country, will be best for it, so that whoever wins, is not just winning on a solo effort. We're winning with the cooperation of as many groups as possible.
Ruben Abati's statement that Ndibo do not sell land to the outsiders, it's very unfortunate. It's unguarded. And I think it was meant particularly to malign Ndibo with very ulterior motive. Let me start. My father was into real estate business. And before the war, a man who was not from my town bought a land, had his documents. After the war, the man did not know where the land was, did not have any documents. They told him my father was the honest man. Now point the land to him. He came to my father with gifts and all those. My father said, no, I remember you. I'll take you to your land anytime you are ready. My father took him to his land. And the man turned out to be a bank manager. And he told my father, so it is really true. We still have honest people. Yeah, he is now going to facilitate a loan for my father to improve his business. And that was how my father took loan from the bank and nationalized his transport business, which helped him to become one of the richest men in the town during our own time, because he sold land to somebody who is not from our town. And so when a man now comes to make statements that
the result was Kebby Badenoch.
I think the major challenge that confronted the NWC, which led to the issue of disagreements and dismemberment of the working committee, is the fact that the current acting chairman, Ambassador Elias Udamagun, has practically overstayed his welcome as the acting chairman. And because of that, some members of the working committee believe that, let us find a situation in which the North Central can come in. But like the Governors Forum has said, and they were that position is very concerning, that, look, let us pull all the problems aside. Let us find a pathway. I wouldn't want to be seen as somebody who is stoking the fire. And because of that, I agree, I'm in tandem with the disposition of the Governors Forum that we must create a pathway to harmony and unity in the party.
Like in all the nations of the world, the powerful political elites will determine who governs us. Like a proverbial knees on our necks, this nation is choking. We can no longer breathe. There is a shortage of air. We need to allow this nation thrive. I'm pleading with you tonight on behalf of millions of our people, more than 10 million of their children who are out of school and more than half of the population who are in abject poverty. This nation cannot be taken as a private enterprise anymore. You, the ordinary Nigerian, can no longer keep quiet. The nation belongs to all of us. And this time around again, no sitting on the fence. We must speak up to rescue this nation. The continent of Africa is waiting for its giant to rise up and flourish. That is why 2023 election is a make or mar. Look, this nation cannot make a mistake with the choice of its next leader. It is a must we get it right. If you employ the best hands to run your private companies, we should have the best of us run the affairs of this nation. We must get leadership right, not only at the center, but across the states. Knowledge, crisis management skills, character and integrity, vision and courage to make tough decisions, effective communication skills, ability to unite the nation. Leaders who cannot show these traits cannot be hired. Enough is enough. Nigeria, rise. Vote and vote right. And your time is now.
Some are saying Ganduje actually spoke the minds of Tinubu, who vented his anger last week, saying some people want to sabotage my...
I think the problem for APC is exactly the problem that we raised in that Arewa Joint committee in Kaduna. If you remember, I asked Tinubu, how are you going to handle this legacy of the president?
Yes.
Because you are going to ask people to vote for APC. No matter what you do, you're going to have a problem explaining to people that you're a continuation of the Buhari administration.
Yes.
Now, so APC has this big challenge. How far should it move away from the president and how close should it get to the president?
Wow.
And finally, I think Tinubu last week maybe took stock of all these unpopular anti-people policies or developments, anti-people developments arising from either an administration that doesn't care or the level of incompetence is so intense that people are, the cost of living, the fuel shortage, the Naira exchange at all this time, and what appears to be an insensitive government. And Tinubu said, I know what this is. This is a ploy to get me unelected.
Yes.
Because people will get angry and they will not vote for me because I'm APC.
Yes.
And he said, somebody is planning all these things. Later, of course, he made attempts to say that is not what I meant. But we all know this thing. Whichever way you spin it, the APC, Tinubu's legacy is going to be, Tinubu's prospects are going to be affected by the records of President Buhari.
Okay, by the record of the
Hello? Oh shit. I don't know say I don't know say I was not audible. My bad.
I mean, you said 3 or 4 candidates. Are you discountenancing
That's what I'm bringing for, because
the other candidates?
You know, I must admit that Rabi Kwankwaso has established himself fairly well. Now, he has established himself. He has become. He's not a media survey personality, all right. But I am a professional, and I'm viewing his campaign from a professional eye, and I say that this is a quantum that must be recognized.
But all the other candidates
cannot push Kwankwaso away in this equation.
All the other candidates of, say, Accord Party, a few other parties that have also shown up, you're not exactly bringing them into reckon, are you?
It's not that we're not, I don't bring them into reckon. I see potentials in them. As a party, at our own campaign level, we're talking to SDP. We're talking to even Kwankwaso again and his team. We're talking to PRP. We're talking to ADC. We want to bring together. It's not a private enterprise. It's not a personal matter. It is, we're going to bring together, a coalition of political forces, in an arrangement whereby we all can come now. INEC has published the list of candidates. Labour Party is not everywhere. Kwankwaso and the group, they're not everywhere. So we can have an arrangement. We can have information that says that those of us who are in this coalition, we will support any candidates where we don't have a candidate. Do you understand? We're talking, and I believe and I trust God will help us that between now and December, we will bring together that alignment politically in the country, and the country, will be best for it, so that whoever wins, is not just winning on a solo effort. We're winning with the cooperation of as many groups as possible.
You asked. You asked. Any Nigerian who is still hanging around waiting for 2023 to change Nigeria is a fool. Line 20 Daily Faroti me up and ask them to become president of Nigeria. 20 of me, 20. Multiply their brain power by 10, factor of 10, and then force them to operate the 1999 Constitution with the governance system that is enshrined in it. We shall fail spectacularly. The problem of Nigeria can never be resolved by personnel changes. The system is designed with impunity undergirding it, and it can never deliver anything positive to the Nigerian peoples. Be those Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo, Fulani, whatever they care to be. Make an Igbo man president of Nigeria in 2023 and force him to operate the 1999 Constitution. Complete waste of time. Igbo will continue to suffer the brunt of the wickedness of the Nigerian state. Every Nigerian is rendered stateless by the 1999 Constitution. It is an iniquitous, wicked, and evil document. It has nothing good for the Nigerian people. And the longer we continue to fool ourselves believing, and let me enter one quick caveat. Our rulers are actually very intelligent when they care to be, especially when it comes to their own preservation. And I know as a fact that they're already making noises about restructuring in Abuja. The Mace Snatcher and the Lawan and that one that calls himself Baja, all of them are sat there running helter-skelter, cobbling together some lies that they intend to sell to us as constitutional, what do they call it, amendments. Let's be clear. You cannot continue to build on top of lies. You can't sustain that lie. And as long as justice is missing in a place, you continue to have strife. We need to tell ourselves the truth, and that truth is that the closest we can come to normalcy in Nigeria is to have a return to the original agreements that founded this country. Those agreements are very clear in their fundamentals. One of them, federal system. Nigeria is today not a federal system. Let's stop lying to ourselves. The word federal was brought to life by the American election. Each state has its own electoral body because it is essentially a country within a larger country. That was what our fathers agreed. Nobody agreed a situation where a clueless man will sit down inside a rock and begin to issue edicts and diktats to every other person. Nobody signed on for that in 1960. All the constitutional conferences, beginning from 1948 all the way to the 1951, all the way to 1960, each and every one of them was very clear and unambiguous. Nigeria was meant to be a federal system based on parliamentary democracy. It wasn't by accident that our fathers settled on parliamentary democracy. They wanted to make democracy as close to the people as it could be. So it simply meant that if you're a parliamentarian, you knew your people knew you. It was the aggregation of the parliamentarians that determined who became the prime minister, and they were also the ones at the regional level who determined who became the premier. So democracy was devolved. It was easier for the people to become involved. What we have today is not a democracy. What we have today is not a federation. We've just become a nation of liars who readily accept every lie that we are told.
Welcome. If you have not liked, please do that. If you haven't shared, do that as well. And also, I don't go from 2 people to 7 people. So the 5 newcomers do the needful. Yes, I said that today's conversation is pretty much coming off of Daily Faroti Miss Simon this morning. He was talking about how, he started with good history. He also even recommend that you should go and read the fatherless people by Dele Ugo, a book I've recommended so many times. And the reason he said that, he pointed it out that if you don't understand our yesterday, it's going to be very hard for you to actually understand where we are today. And I will call Tunaja out. Tunaja need that the most. Tunaja needed the most. Go listen to that guy, but at the same time, get the book. But towards the end of his, I think he rounded up his sermon. I would say that with the call for electoral reform, we should unite and revolutionize electoral reform. That's where I kind of, I'm not disagreeing with him, but I think there are stages to this game. Electoral reform will not necessarily do anything. The world that we live in today, the power that be, don't care about how you govern yourself necessarily. They're in control of your economy, control of how you feed, which automatically determine how you live, which automatically determine how you govern yourself. So that is the faith that we have to face first. How can we be economically free? In case you don't understand what I mean, we don't be where they control our resources. The lands, before now, what is they grow, waiting there inside the land. Now we no get why we know they feel explore. But even today, even on top of the land, what do I mean? Even the farming that you used to feed yourself is gone. I said it's gone because the GMO that people are talking about is real. And the fact that we are talking about means it's already here. So even the soil, the land that you have is useless to you if you cannot replicate what you are planting as you wish. To those where they know how to farm. But most importantly, you need to also understand the reason why the American history, knowing your American history is very important because unlike other empire that came before America, America own is an idea, and the idea is to control the planet Earth, every inch of it. And what people don't understand about that is the economy. Once you control the economy of any land, anybody, any society, you control that person's life. Who pays you, tells you how to eat, where to wear, who to marry, how to whatever you do depends on how much you are being paid. In Nigerian case, that's pretty much exactly who he is. We don't produce shit. We just manage shit for people that owns it. Now, go listen to Deliver to me. You will grasp that part of what I'm saying here. But on the other hand, instead of us shooting for electoral reform, electoral revolution, let's go for economic reform, which I think that's what Showore is actually asking for. Because to understand that, you need to understand our history economically, right? When the British gave us independence, according to just like what Dele Farotini was saying in that video, we have parliamentary system whereby the people are more easily involved, take control of their immediate environment and destiny pretty much, right? And those that we speak of the glory days of Nigeria, we talk about 60s and 70s, how regionals were in competition with each other and all that kind of good stuff. But that was in the 60s. That was before America tell them to let my people go, and that is what comes with it. When they say let my people go, it's only a matter of time that all the infrastructure that they lay before will disappear. The government system or the government system, the governing system, the way we should govern ourselves was led by the British, which is parliamentary. Our economic system is pretty much based on regional, which is pretty much how they also play their own economic game. But as soon as the world power, America, come into the equation, they say, you know what, we don't understand this shit. We're going to do the same thing that we did to them when we get our independence from them in the 1700s. Change their government because now parliament, they are all, saying hey, hey, hey to the queen before to in America. So all the benefits, all the progress that come with regionalism and British way of doing things fade away gradually. But most importantly, a new system of economy and governance was issued into our life again. But this time around was under General Olusegun Obasanjo watch in 1979. Constitution was changed to presidential system, and guess what? Structural adjustment program was on the way. Again, that is a product of IMF, how which is literally bettered by America. Again, who was it in? This time around, President Olusegun Obasanjo. Social adjustment program came into the 80s. Gradually, all our industries that come with regional disappear. This power takes center stage. And guess what? Privatization continues. All our factories were privatized, they sold off, all the company begin to disappear one at a time, going from state to private hands, which is where Shewore comes into play. Shewore say we need to reverse it. Shit need to go back to the states. Let the state be in charge of what? Factors of production again. Which one will argue that is how America became America. When they take to the policy of association, isolationism, when they decide to isolate themselves, that was what they are practicing. Investing taxpayer money in railways, building companies and all that. They are the military. The same thing with the Chinese. So, if you want to understand Showore's economic plan, that's exactly what he's saying. Let's go back to how it used to be, but differently with this time around. So, fast forward to Fourth Republic that we are in today. Obasanjo also under his watch, right? Military fed off, democracy came in. So, the rest they say is history. Now, Tinubu come in and try to exactly pick up where Obasanjo left off, since nobody could continue the way he wanted it. So, we depend on exports to feed. The day when they will cut all those taxes, only go finish us. So, if we really want to change things, that energy that parity means calling for us to take to electoral reform, she's not going to change anything. Let's go for economic freedom, economic revolution, but most important, even party revolution. How do we go for? How do we revolution our party system to work for us? Even though that it's not as important as compared to the economy. Because as I said, the goal of the United States is to run the planet Earth. Economically, once they control how you feel, every other thing falls in line. Every other thing, they say, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and every other thing will be added unto you. And they are in road. So automatically, once they control our economy, they tell us where to invest, how to invest, which is exactly what is happening. And they try bring this video that Osman was talking about electoral reform that is pretty much in line with what the Leparotini is asking us to revolution, to revolt in support of electoral reform. As I said, if you are not in control of the party, no matter how much you fund the electoral process, all they need to do, the party will just present the candidates that's in their favor, and you will end up voting for them, regardless of how credible the election is. But to be fair, to him, he was also through the idea of um, individual candidates. But that will never work.
Are you stepping down for Alaji Atiku?
That's the second part. You see, I was highly disappointed with him because I saw his interview. Even though it was not as bad as people, his supporters were going around to say I was. He didn't say anyone, me or Peter was step down for him. What he said from the video that I saw was that he's talking to us, and that's not correct. Except for here in Lagos when I came to do the his debate or town hall meeting. Since I left PDP, I've not seen Atiku eye to eye. And I refuse to talk to anybody. Because you see, the only thing remaining for PDP and APC now is propaganda.
I don't know about any factional election because Ohanese has no factions. The responses that I've been getting have been commendable. People have been very happy because one, they never thought that it would be possible for this transition to the river states to happen. And secondly, some of them said they thought that we were going to do everything to extend this tenure. So they're all excited, they're all happy, and they're all calling me and congratulating me for fidelity to a promise that we're going to hand over today. We're going to conduct the elections, and we're going to hand over to a real reverse person of Igbo extraction. And that is what we have done, and that's why we're all celebrating, and we are happy. John Mbata is a known person, and he was a senator, and I think he's a big businessman who is the chairman of the Monia Construction Company, among other things that he does. He's also an established estate developer.
All right, I know the president has congratulated Senator Mbata, and he has pledged to unify the Igbo people. And I know you say you don't have any idea of any election that took place in Port Harcourt or anywhere else, but it's all over in the news where Barrister Uche Ukuku emerged. However, this new leadership, how does it intend to lead a truly representable and united Ohanese Ndigbo?
Mbata and Senator Mbata and his group from Rivers came in very large numbers, and he came with people with name recognition. He came with people that you can see that are serious and committed to the expansion and the development of the Igbo nation. There is no single person that we expected to come who did not come. So I don't know if anything happened in Port Harcourt. All the governors were here in Enugu. The senators were here. The House of Representatives, the legislators, the church, and the traditional rulers were here in Enugu. So I don't know whether anything happened elsewhere because every person we expected came. There's a list of members of the Imobi, and they were all there.
Okay, if you can hear me.
The executives who worked with me were all there. And every other person who was invited was around. So I don't know what it meant by whatever happened in Port Harcourt is by the way.
Our coat of many colors must not be torn asunder. That is what our enemies would prefer. Each and every person who benefits from the ruination of Nigeria is an enemy of Nigerians. Usually, they distract us. They use religion. They use ethnicity. They use politics, partisanship. But we're part of the same tapestry. We're part of the same cloth, and we mustn't tear it apart. Yes, I would love to tear apart the iniquitous Nigeria that has held all of us hostage. But I don't want to tear my country apart. I want to tear down the evil system that permits the evil that has overtaken our country. I don't want to tear the fabric apart. No, it's the system. What combines together is the fabric. It's got coats of many colors, yes, but it becomes a coat only because the fabric was stitched together. It wasn't batik. It's not batik, it's not tie and dye. It's a patchwork of different colors. You have diversity, but it only becomes strength when you find common purpose, when you're all pulling in the same direction. The Nigerian in the northern part of Nigeria must want the rule of law. The Nigerian in the southern part of Nigeria must want the rule of law. Because what ails you as Mustafa ails Amechi. The same thing is disturbing Olakunle. Nodu is afflicted by the same. The future must hold a Nigeria that is accountable to law, both by persons and by institutions of state. We are more than them. We are by far more than them. Good morning in a new Nigeria is what we need to be saying to ourselves.
You are watching feudalism being institutionalized in broad daylight. Feudalism thrives on impunity. It does not thrive on the rule of law. That is what you are seeing institutionalized. Law does not matter and cannot and must not matter if feudalism must reign. And that is what has happened. What all the people who have helped to institutionalize this madness would have found is that they have helped to promote the reign of evil. Because if this evil is condoned in relation to one, it is institutionalized in relation to all.
I think the major challenge that confronted the NWC, which led to the issue of disagreements and dismemberment of the working committee, is the fact that the current acting chairman, Ambassador Ilyas Udamagun, has practically overstayed his welcome as the acting chairman. And because of that, some members of the working committee believe that, let us find a situation in which the North Central can come in. But like the Governors Forum has said, and they were that position is very concerning, that, look, let us pull all the problems aside. Let us find a pathway. I wouldn't want to be seen as somebody who is stoking the fire. And because of that, I agree, I'm in tandem with the disposition of the Governors Forum that we must create a pathway to harmony and unity in the party.
I don't know about any factional election because Ohaneze has no factions. The responses that I've been getting have been commendable. People have been very happy because, one, they never thought that it would be possible for this transition to the river states to happen. And secondly, some of them said they thought that we were going to do everything to extend this tenure. So they're all excited, they're all happy, and they're all calling me and congratulating me for fidelity to a promise that we're going to hand over today. We're going to conduct the elections, and we're going to hand over to a real reverse person of Igbo extraction. And that is what we have done, and that's why we're all celebrating, and we're happy. John Mbata is a known person, and he was a senator, and I think he's a big businessman who is the chairman of the Monia Construction Company, among other things that he does. He's also an established estate developer.
All right, I know the president has congratulated Senator Mbata, and he has pledged to unify the Igbo people. And I know you say you don't have any idea of any election that took place in Port Harcourt or anywhere else, but it's all over in the news where Barrister Uche Ukuku emerged. However, this new leadership how does it intend to lead a truly representable and united Ohaneze Ndibo?
Mbata and Senator Mbata and his group from Rivers came in very large numbers. And he came with people with name recognition. He came with people that you can see that are serious and committed to the expansion. And
There's absolutely nothing to rejoice about. The resumption of the refineries until the price of fuel is affordable to the average Nigerian, which will bring down the cost of transportation and reduce the cost of production, which will translate to reduced price for food and other items, thereby bringing down the inflation and cost of living. Nigerians are dying of hunger and hardship, and we can produce and refine our way out of poverty with the termination of corruption in the oil industry and the privatization of the refinery to ensure saturation of the system with supplies and breaking of monopoly, which will ensure competition among the practitioners in the oil industry. That is Kenneth Okwankwa is coming back one tweet at a time. One tweet at a time, sweet Jesus. You know that song that I think Osibanjo has finally retired from politics officially, I should say. Former spokesperson for the immediate past Vice President Yemi Oshibanjo, Laolu Akande, asserts that there is no basis for anyone to conclude that Oshibanjo has exited the political arena or resigned from All Progressive Party. Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong. Notably, Osibanjo has not been prominently involved in various political activities since his departure from office in 2023, leading to speculation regarding his potential withdrawal from the APC and politics in general. Recall that the former vice president participated in the APC primary in 2022 but was unsuccessful in securing the party nomination, ultimately leading to President Bola Tinubu. He held the position of Attorney General and Commissioner for Lagos State from 1999 to 2007 during Tinubu's tenure as governor. In the meantime, some political analysts have suggested that Osibanjo's reduced engagement in politics matter may be a consequences of his defeat in the APC primaries. While other contenders that he is allocating less time to politics due to his recent role as global advisor for the Global Energy Alliance for Peoples and Planets. Can anyone come with that one again now? Global advisor for the Global Energy Advisor for People and Planets. Alright, Atibo. One question about his former principal, politician position Akande refrained from offering personal opinion regarding Osibanjo's status. He emphasized that Osibanjo has communicated any intention to leave politics and to his knowledge continue to be a member of the APC. Akande further indicated that the Osibanjo will participate in APC events that necessitated his attendance. Okay. So, but as I was saying, we are discussing Dele Farotimi's submission today, to which I kind of disagree towards his last point that we should revolt in demanding for electoral reform.
I am saying that it's not the number one problem. At the core of that is economic freedom. Then party we need to revolutionize the political party. If these are not there, doesn't matter how we um, reform the election, whatever. It ain't gonna work. Nothing gonna change. Party first, and the parties, these political parties are hinged on this Nigerian 1999 constitution. So where do we go from there? So as we struggle with corruption and poverty and inequality, I've led many to call for a revolution. While some advocate for an electoral revolution, others believe that a major fundamental transformation is needed, encompassing both economic and party reform. An economic revolution will aim to address the country's deep-seated economic issues such as over-reliance on oil exports, which we not even know how much we export, how much we they get. We have, I mean, when I mean we, I ain't talking about the ordinary people now. Even our leaders, only one or two people know the ratio that comes to us and how money that goes out. So widespread poverty and inadequate infrastructure. This could involve implementing policy to promote economic diversification, increases access to education and healthcare, and reduce inequality. A party revolution, on the other hand, would focus on transforming Nigerian political landscape. This will involve reforming the centuries political parties to make them more accountable, transparent, and responsive to the need of the people. That means we also have to go to the constitution and get that rooted out too. So it's the same spirit. It could also be involved promoting alternative forms of political participation and representation, such as a grassroots movement and community-based organization. That's what we're liking. I've been advocating for that even before I was born. And nobody wants to organize. Nobody wants to go outside the mainstream bourgeoisie and go and recruit talakawas to come into the competition, to come into the competition arena. So you stand a chance. But you they follow people will be saying that then get these 40 million voters. Now they are doings. Now they are doings. You all follow there, mobilize inside there. How that gonna work? I don't get it, but one day, we go get them. Some argue that Nigerian problems are too deeply ingrained to be solved by electoral reform alone. I am one of those people. I believe that a more fundamental transformation is needed, and that addresses the underlying economic and political structure that perpetuate inequality and poverty. For instance, the revolutionary movement led by Omole Sowore has been advocating for a radical transformation of Nigerian economy and political system. The movement's five core demands include an economy that works for the masses, which is pretty much part of the production factors have to be in the hands of the masses. An end to systematic corruption and free quality education for all. On time, ultimately, the path forward for Nigeria will depend on the collective action of its citizens, who must come together to demand meaningful change and hold their leaders accountable. That's another thing. Yesterday, I was listening to who they talk on yesterday, say for Dr. Damage. They are voted for. They were expected to do this. They expect, man, nigga, you expecting too much. That's the fucking problem. Expecting human being to do what he's supposed to do is at your own parade. Shit. Expectation? If not by expectation, there will not be need for law at all. I mean, one can be so much speak of confidence when it comes to system that works, that of America or China. But still not because of law, not because of that trust on fucking human beings say that well, you're supposed I voted for you. You were elected to do that. So you expected to do. Keep expecting. I expect to be a billionaire in the next 5 hours. I'll just keep expecting. Ain't nothing, no expectation already give anybody anything. You have to organize and go to war politically speaking. Go and organize those people who have been left out in the name of 135 multi-dimensional poverty. What the fuck that even mean? I don't know. But it works. That's how to tell you don't count. You are not invited. You've been out. You represent, you're part of the deplorables, part of the illiterates that they don't want to see come close to where the posh people live their best life. Until those people who are systematically annihilated from the system, somebody go out there and work on a chunk of them, bring them into that 40 million where they don't package for one side. Bring 5 million conjure now from outside and see how it become. How 5 million no will make any difference. To set them in panic. They go miscalculate. So the great thing about what Daily Parrotimi is trying to do is to get the energy focused on one policy or two policies rather than shit that cannot be achievable. Make it bogus as if and what do they call that? Protest against and bad government. That's the fuck. That what does that even mean? And bad government. But it works again. You prepare for it. This weather is deceiving. It's beach weather like, but at the same time can be trusted. Nowhere there's snow everywhere.
Kirikiri una come from. Kirikiri have been out. Say the people who supposed to for prison for this country and those who waiting for government.
But you look familiar. You look like Sowore.
Yeah, I mean.
I got the action is priceless.
Hello, Mr. Hello.
How are you? Which one? I want to cause traffic for this place again. Not be airport road be this, huh? Wanna come up for roads? No, to wind this place down. Why not? We are not parking. We are not supposed to be causing traffic to the airport. We are not parking. Wanna calm down. We know the park. Go and bring your guy. I know the park. Now they cause traffic for roads. We don't need this traffic. This is the airport road. I know the park. I know the park. Come on for road. Come on for road. I know the park. Go bring your commissioner. I know the park. I know the park. I know the park. When I come up for road, God punish you too.
Yeah, it's funny for that country, man. I gonna punish you. I gonna punish you too. Ah! It remind me of Oshomole. He say, go and die. They tell that woman, say, go and die. Every artist has the right to affiliate. He gonna punish you. He gonna punish you too. And that, you know, get
I,
jail.
Felix Morka, did not threaten P2B. Nothing I said in that interview begins to even suggest remotely that, P2B, I was asking anything other than saying to the man who was asking me a question, he said, you guys are calling him prophet of doom or, voodoo economist. And I said, well, you know what, if that is what it's called, he has, he deserves it because he's crossed the line of truth. Now, I don't know by what medium or by what, effort do you then transmogrify that conversation into a threat to Obi's life and the life of his family or those around him.
Okay,
that is libel in the extreme.
I know Mr. Obi likes to quote figures from Bangladesh, from India, from China, but that's not what we're talking about. Let's move to the second leg of it. Has anybody threatened you? Because your own party is saying you have been threatened. And who are those people who have threatened you? How?
Actually,
because you two, you are alleged.
Absolutely.
You should also prove.
As it turns out, Peter Obi's allegation that the words I spoke in that interview threatened his life. Now, immediately, as I speak, I have documented no less than 400 threats, about over 200 of which are death threats. I'm not talking about people these are written texts that I have carefully documented and which, I'm providing to the law enforcement agencies, or people really telling me graphically describing how they intend to take me out. To shoot me, behead me in graphic language. You see, this is not a joke. And it's gone further to some members of my family who have also been, threatened directly. I'm not speaking about just, suggesting in graphic, language. You see, but, I'm not concerned about that because, what has triggered this entire insanity cannot be attributed to me. I did not threaten Peter Obi. And so anybody who is threatening me, that is their decision to do so. But, I hope that our law enforcement system will respond as effectively as possible to also, bring those individuals to justice.
But you always take shots, and every chance you get, you'll be the live quote Bangladesh. That's a good one, though.
I think Mr. Morka is playing a script. He's possibly trying to impress his masters because he was talking about P2B's achievement in Anambra State. I think he has to go back and read properly before, tempering to address P2B's performance in Anambra State. But first of all, we have to warn Mr. Morka, or whatever he calls himself.
Felix Morka.
Prince Morka. Obedience are very patient people. We are wounded in 2023 and we accepted it, and we kind of accepted our principal's plea for us to be calm. But let him be warned that anarchy is at the corner. By the time he starts to threaten P2B, he has no right to come and speak the way he's speaking. P2B is a decent man. In fact, obedience are angry with P2B.
Okay, let's talk about what Peter Obi has said, right? He's expressing concerns about Nigeria transforming into what he calls an authoritarian and repressive regime. Do you share his view?
Well, Peter Obi as an opposition leader, you're not expecting Peter Obi to come and, say hallelujah songs to the government. The government is practically not doing what it promised the Nigerian people. And there has to be someone speaking here. In civilized countries, they face themselves and they spill all these things face to face. Is it because our democracy is for dragging? You should be able to accept criticism. And I have not seen anything Peter Obi has said that is too bitter for anyone to accommodate. Peter Obi has done a fantastic job of being an opposition with concern about the Nigerian people. We are calling on the APC government to call Prince Moka to order. He has to withdraw his statement. In fact, he should be arrested for calling, threatening the opposition that he has crossed. Which line did he cross? We are telling the government what they ought to do for the Nigerian people to live. People are dying of stampede. People are hungry. The transportation system is not working. Bad roads everywhere. The hospitals have no equipment. So
our quote.
No.
The thing I need all of you to know is this. I am not unmindful of the sacrifices that you have made to be here today. May the grace of God find and locate you wherever you are. Amen. It is not ever an easy journey when you are fighting evil. Yes. But some years back, before I started this work, God told me very clearly, and I heard it very clearly. He says, once have I spoken. Once has he spoken, twice have I heard. He says, the truth is enough. It is the only weapon by which you can slay the monster called Nigeria. The truth, nothing else. In my public advocacy, in my fight and my wars against this evil empire that we all live in, I have never lied against anyone. Yeah. If I don't know, I'll say I don't know. That's true.
That was a nice true. How you say no?
Yeah.